The PokèManiac Trainer Class is a pretty interesting one. They tend to like Pokemon that are more reptilian or dinosaur-like, classical monster designs. In later gens, they're even depicted as cosplaying as Charizards and Slowpokes. And that Slowpoke love is very apparent in Gen 1, as most of the early game PokèManiacs that you encounter just have Slowpoke and or Cubone. It's not until you get into later game battles that you see PokèManiacs with Pokemon like Lapras, Charmeleon, Rhyhorn, and Lickitung. Fossil Cubone is not great. It does have its uses with Snivel and Rage, but with only 40 HP, it's pretty hard to use. And even if we wanted to cheat just a little bit and involve Marowak, Marowak's not much better. Same thing for Fossil Slowpoke. I love Slowpoke, but this card is just an item finder that can cost you a prize and waste your energy. So the PokèManiac's two primary Pokemon are kind of a bust in the TCG. It's a good thing that this trainer class uses the best motherfucking card in the whole base fossil format. So for this deck, we're going to be going with Charmeleon, Rhyhorn, and Lickitung. I did try a version with Lapras, but needing as many fire energy as you need for Charmeleon and as many water energy as you need for Lapras, it really damaged the synergy. But that also gives me an opportunity to actually use Rhyhorn, which is a card that never saw very much play. And that's one of the main reasons I've been dabbling in theme decks, is to just use cards that would go unused otherwise. So here we've got a full playset of Charmander and then 3 copies of Charmeleon. Charmeleon, in my opinion, is an underrated card as is. Whenever I play Arcanine builds, if I want to go full fire monotype, I'll play maybe like 3 copies of Fossil Magmar, and then I'll go 4-3 Charmeleon or 3-3 Charmeleon, just because it's a great card to have. Dealing 50 damage for 3 energy is just not bad at all, and I much prefer it than evolving into its stage 2 form and having to attach 4 energy. I understand that the energy efficiency remains the same, but I will take any opportunity to shit on base set Charizard. You know this. 3 copies of that Jungle Rhyhorn, and then 4 copies of Jungle Lickitung, also known as the best Pokemon in base Fossil because of its energy efficiency and ability to paralyze for 1 energy. But let's go back to Rhyhorn and its inclusion in this deck. It's not as energy efficient as a Charmeleon because you're only dealing 30 damage for those 3 energy, but it can utilize a double colorless energy and actually attack on turn 2 for 30 damage. And it's got 70 HP. It's got the same amount of HP as most of your big basics in base Fossil. Plus, it can hit your opposing normal types for weakness, like Lickitungs or Wigglytuffs or Clefables, which can be really handy if you're able to deal that 60 damage on turn 2 with a Horn attack. Pretty standard stuff for the trainer base. Got a full playset of Bill and 3 copies of Professor Oak for your draw power. A couple copies of Computer Search in there, just so you can really search out the card you need in certain situations. So if you are up against a normal type Pokemon, you can go ahead and search out a Rhyhorn, start getting it set up. Pokemon Trader isn't really a necessity here because you really only have 3 evolution cards in this deck. And as for the rest of the basics, you can get those pretty easily just relying on the draw power. If you are starting the game with a Rhyhorn or a Charmander, you can stall a little bit by using energy removal very early game, and then energy retrieval is going to come in really handy to get back those fire energy that Charmeleon's going to be discarding. Once you get a Charmeleon set up and start attacking on turn 3 or turn 4, you're going to be dealing a lot of damage, but you're also going to be discarding energy really fast, and you won't be able to get those back into your hand. A full play set of Switch is going to be very important in this deck just to get around the Lickitung and the Rhyhorn retreat cost. Lickitung is going to be amazing early game. It's going to be amazing the entire game, but your primary damage dealer is going to be your Charmeleon and your Rhyhorn. So depending on your matchup, you're going to want to pull back those Lickitungs once your Charmeleon or your Rhyhorn set up, and to conserve the energy and not have to waste any double colorless on retreating Lickitung, you just use a switch. And then of course, Gust of Wind is going to pull out easy targets for you to knock out very quickly with a flamethrower or a horn attack. A full playset of plus power is going to make sure that when you do gust Pokemon out into the active position to attack them, you are going to get a knockout and take a prize. Got your playset of double colorless energy, not only for Rhyhorn, but also in emergency situations where you do need to retreat a Lickitung and you don't have a switch on hand, you're not able to draw a switch. Maybe even if you get energy screwed on a Charmeleon, you can throw down a double colorless and just use Slash instead of Flamethrower. It's mainly just your quick go-to for when you're up against normal type Pokemon. You want to pull out that Rhyhorn and start attacking for super effective damage. That is also why there are 5 fighting energy in this deck, specifically for Rhyhorn, but Lickitung can utilize those just as well. And then 8 copies of fire energy. With your energy retrieval in this deck, you're not going to need as many fire energy, even though you are discarding quite a bit with Charmeleon. A full playset of energy retrieval makes up for that. And here we have yet another role-playing theme deck based around the PokèManiac. So what else fits into this deck? Well, with these theme decks, I've been a little light on using Lass because it can be so disruptive and effective against other decks. So if you do want to attack your opponent because you know they're holding on to some energy removals or plus powers, Lass is the way to go. If you want to cheat a little bit and include Jungle Rhydon, you can still use Horn Attack, deal the same amount of damage for the same amount of energy, but with higher HP. But it's kind of a waste of space and there's really no reason to do it, so get that Rhydon out of here. You could also stretch and include Kangaskhan, which PokèManiacs did start using in Gen 2. It's another one of those underrated big normal basics that isn't really going to bust the format. It's just really good to have around for that extra draw power and to sponge up some hits for a little bit. And that's going to be the PokèManiac Trainer Class theme deck. Stay tuned to the channel to see which trainer class is going to be next. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite trainer class is. Let me know if you've actually tried building any of these to try out this dumb idea that I came up with for this mini format. If you've enjoyed the very appropriate background music for this video, I will put a link in the description so you can go and check it out and support that channel as well. Until next video, bye.